Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of Like, Share, Follow. Can you believe it's been 20 episodes already? And this week I've got Geneva Holley, the co-owner and a paid ad specialist at the creative media company. So, hi, Geneva. It's been a couple of years since I saw you last in my classes. So, what have you been up to?
Wow. The world of social media has taken its reins for my career journey post uni. And at the moment, I am a co-founder of a digital marketing agency. So that's been keeping me very busy. And
Yeah. So that's huge. So I remember we were sort of catching up before we went to air, and I remember that you were applying for a job. It was their final year, and you were sort of asking for direction on what to sort of include. And then I saw that you got that job, and then you graduated, and then I saw you started your own business, which is amazing. So tell me, like more about that. So it was in your sort of mid of your final year that you started to look for jobs and apply for jobs. And so where did you go from that stage of wanting to work for someone to then actually wanting to start your own thing?
I think, yeah, naturally it came about. So it was my first year into my full-time job, and me and a colleague decided to create this workshop on the Sunshine Coast. And it was a workshop that was very fundamentals of social media, just to teach very, very basic social media skills. Anyway, the workshop went sort of gangbusters, and we had 100 plus people attend, and it came about that a lot of people needed help here. So we provided advice, but then we also started to put it into a course, because we thought there's only so much you can teach via a workshop that goes for an hour and a half. And there's so many different levels of understanding when it comes to social media. So we thought the best way to do this is to put it into a course that caters for beginners, intermediate, that kind of thing. And from there, that also grew very quickly. So we started creating, from there, we created a Facebook group, and then everyone participated on there, and we did lives and educated through that sort of virtual dynamic. And then I learnt very quickly that it was very challenging to educate social media, and I found it more of interest to me to practice more than educate. So with those clients that came on board with the course, I said, I can do the service for you if you're struggling. And from there, that's where we grew our client base. So it naturally came about, and my business partner alongside me experienced the same thing. And from there, we just had this client base that we were doing predominantly Facebook advertising, but we did also provide things like design and branding and full service. And so that kept us very busy. But then we've just continued on for almost a year and a half now. So
Amazing. And yeah, I mean, like I love it when you can clearly see that you've learned so much, and you've reflected so much on what you were doing and what you like and what you don't like, and that's just helped you to really grow into where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I've taken so many different pathways. I would never have imagined that I would be doing something like this. Working with my own clients is definitely a sort of a dream that I'm doing that. So, yeah, never ever did I think when I was taking your courses that I would be doing something like this. But yeah, it's happening, and I'm very optimistic. It's a good industry to be in right now, especially during this climate. Being able to work from home and virtually has been really good. So I'm very grateful.
And what's been some of the best advice that you've been given throughout your career? But even it may not even be the best, but I guess something that stuck with you and really helped you.
Definitely saying yes and being open to saying yes to any opportunity that came about. I used to be quite judgmental with things that came up, and I thought, well, I don't think it's going to get me this and this and this, so I might give that a miss. And I came up with excuses as to why not to do that thing. And ever since reading a book that was all about saying yes, I've had that that way about just being open to saying yes to all opportunities, and I think that's brought on a lot of the success that I've seen in my career so far. Most opportunities have come from the most unlikely of events. So that's definitely my biggest advice, is saying yes to anything.
Okay. And so normally I ask our social media grads from USC, like yourself, because you studied that, I normally ask them, when they, in their careers, what set them apart from other graduates, but you're your own boss, right? So, I just want to ask, what do you think you need as a graduate to start your own business and your own agency? What are the skills that you really need to succeed as a business owner in a social media field?
Definitely number one would be self-management. It's a completely different ball game, and I found that out very early after working for somebody else to then working for myself. It's very, very different dynamic. It's very hard to switch off. So self-management and time management is definitely key. Self-motivation, it really does. Yeah, it definitely impacts how you run your business. So that they would be the most important key things to starting your own.
Yeah. And what are the things that you learned at university that have really helped you on your journey?
Probably the ability to learn so many different things at once. Multitasking is definitely something. Definitely multitasking.
Okay. And what's something you wish you'd learned at university that you got out and went, oh, I wish I knew this now, and you've had to learn?
So for me, it's been negotiating.
Yeah.
It's definitely been negotiating, and being a female boss, it's quite, I've had to do a lot of self-development for that in particular. But that would be, I'm not sure what course would provide that, but negotiating is definitely something. And actually through uni, when I went through, I didn't get to study advertising side of things. So I learnt a lot of that with my first full-time work, and very intense training and all of that, but that would have been really good to have through uni. So
because you did the minor, didn't you? The social media minor. Yeah. So now we've got a major, and in the one of the final courses, students, depending on what their client wants, but they do have the option to actually learn about Facebook ads and social media advertising, actually do run them and be live on their channels. So there is that option, but I totally get that. That is something that, I wish we could embed all the way through. So, I think the negotiating thing was funny. I was actually having a chat with a student this morning, and so we're thinking of developing, because there's a lot of students now who want to take on clients while they're studying, and just learning skills around, the students doing it, but just teaching them how to really set themselves up as a sole trader, and also learning those skills about invoicing and things like that, but that negotiation between the processes around that, and not being scared to put forth what you want. It takes practice, I think. I guess the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But yeah, like it feels very foreign, I think, before you actually get used to putting it out there, and also not being scared to walk away. Like if it doesn't suit you,
Yes.
say thanks, but no thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really great that you're looking into it, because it's definitely come up for me a lot. And the other thing actually that's come up, and that's working virtually, but how to show up virtually, that's been a really big, obviously a lot of us know how to go to a meeting professionally, but virtually is, it's been a really big challenge of mine. And to keep enthusiastic over a computer, like it really is a challenging thing. It's a different dynamic to going to meet somebody in person and build that relationship like that. I think you've really got to give it a lot more.
It's very different. Like even, how we normally have the social media networking session, we bring the clients who are interested in hiring students with the students looking for freelance work. And it's normally a really great face-to-face event. Well, we had to do it virtually this year. And so, so that was a whole new world as well. It worked pretty well, but I think if we had a whole heap of people, I would have been like crying. It was manageable. Hopefully we go back face-to-face next year. So yeah, I totally get that. So what is something you've learned about social media in the last couple of weeks? Because it's so fast. What's like, it could be a hack or a tool or just a bit of information that you've learned that you could share with us?
Probably in terms of advertising, as that's an area of interest for a lot of social media graduates, I suppose, is video content through Instagram and how to leverage that through social media advertising. We've just found with a lot of our results as of recent times, the images are not performing as well as we would like to right now. And that's just purely because Instagram's changing a lot of their algorithm right now, and they're really trying to push out their TikTok-styled reels. But they're soon to release the advertising side of reels. So that's definitely something that we're ready to bounce on. But yes, if we're spending advertising dollars, definitely looking into video content and starting to get familiar with the reel side of things. And
I was going to ask you about that. So because I love TikTok, and I've done one reel. I've got to get more into it because like I know I will be more practiced in the next couple of weeks. But what are clients asking for that? Because I've heard that Instagram is really giving people a lot of reach using it because they want people to use it. And so is that an area? Is that a feature that you're using a lot?
For clients, yes. For ourselves, not as much.
Like for clients, is it working well for clients?
It is, definitely. Yes. And I think it just, like, Instagram make it so easy for you to create this nice little video that's very engaging, and it's easy to watch, and people want to watch more of it. It's very addictive. So Instagram are really good at creating these things for us to use. So definitely getting on top of it now while they've got that there. The other thing as well that's been really, really good in terms of advertising is influencer content through advertising. There's a lot of opportunity when it comes to that, and that's what we're finding. It's very competitive for brands that aren't using that style of advertising. So two trends that we're keeping our eyes on and focused towards with our clients is definitely Instagram videos and influencer content through ads. So
Okay. And do you have any advice to kind of social media students or emerging social media professionals about how to succeed in their career? I know you talked about, being open and trying opportunities as they come and not, just giving things a go. Do you have any other tips for them?
I think getting ready to graduate, I think you want to get your resume and cover letter up to scratch, and constantly prospect your LinkedIn jobs and seek jobs and see what businesses are wanting to hire and see what roles that you may need to educate yourself up on before you go for the interview. Definitely that's what I think stood out when I was applying for work straight out of uni, was definitely my eagerness to get in straight away with my cover letter ready. And because the way that I think it works is through, what do you call it? First in, best dressed. I always think of it like that. So for anyone who's getting ready to start adulting and start their full-time career, I think it's probably best to get ready for it sooner rather than later, and always know what's around the corner.
Yeah, no, it's great advice. And I know, like, we run that Be Work Ready session at USC at the end of every semester, and so I had to do it online last semester. So I'll put actually a link in the comments to the recordings of that. It's all about how to rework your CV and networking skills and interview skills, because that's a really great point. And I think some students and people just forget about that stuff. And it's so important because you have to tailor your application for the job that you're going for. So
yeah, definitely. And it takes skill to write them as well. They're very challenging.
Yeah. No, you're right, and you need to start thinking about it now, particularly if you are about to graduate. And the most important question of the whole show is, who do you like, share, and follow?
In terms of digital marketing, there's a lovely lady called Molly Pittman, and she is my go-to for all things digital related. She is so good, and she's always up to date, and I've done immense training with her. So she is somebody that I always look up to in terms of digital marketing. But in terms of personal growth, who's really helped me is a lady, Mel Robbins.
Oh, yeah?
She's very, very good when it comes to feeling the fear and doing it anyway. That's her go-to line. And I just have learnt so much from her. So, yeah, those two lovely ladies.
Excellent. And maybe in the comments you could tag them, or then other people watching can follow them as well.
No worries.
Excellent. And so do you have any final words as we wrap up?
Probably, well, your students in social media marketing, although it is a really challenging industry because it's constantly changing and it's quite intimidating because all these things keep coming up and you've got to be up to date all the time. I think pursuing it, because it's definitely going to get bigger, and I feel as if there's always work in this industry, and it's very exciting because it changes all the time. So for anyone who's interested in this industry, I think it's pursue it and see how it goes. Yeah, that would probably be my words of advice.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Geneva, and thanks to everyone for tuning in. And next week, it's a surprise. So I will on Friday, I'll promote who our guest will be on episode 21. So thanks, everyone, and thank you again, Geneva.
You're very welcome. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Karen.
Bye.